the craft of writing sentences to tell stories, whether it's true, whether it's, narrative nonfiction, or whether it's fiction, or whether it's poetry, it is nerdy and exciting.
I see it as a sport to write essays.
It is a discipline and an art and a challenge to create sentences and tell stories and spin yarns in a way that is impactful and exciting and elucidating all at the same time.
Well, I'm so happy we get to talk about this because I feel like it's so nerdy of us.
Yeah.
Where we're we like writing essays.
We like writing sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my wife is a fiction writer. And so I'm always reading her drafts and she's a remarkable fiction writer. I mean, she blows me away. I could never do what she does because this isn't just about her life. She's creating whole universes and characters and voices that are so surprising and jaw-dropping. That's a whole other thing. But
yeah, because you go into it and you're like, okay, this isn't a diary. This is meant to communicate. I am here to take people on a journey, right? I love trying to write something where I'm right with the audience. I'm right with them. Like you're with them. And you somehow write in such a way, the language is such, whether it's accessible or pleasing or whatever, that they're with you, right? They're with you. And then you safely tip them over. And that feeling, I think when you feel it, when you're reading, is so nice. And when you can achieve it with writing, it is so satisfying. And that's the difference between the 5-paragraph essay I learned in high school and the way I learned to write afterwards. Because the high school essay is kind of you just go to the point of you take the audience from one point to the other. But a true, I think, elevated writing is you take them with you right there, and then you sort of contradict everything in a way that is
a twist, a turn, a surprise. I was saying to you before we were recording, I loved the book Bravey so much because it was it's fun, it's light, it's fun, it's light, it's moving. It's oh my God, it's incredibly vulnerable. And it just stops. And you're and then you have that, and then you're dealing with that. And then all of a sudden it's really funny again. And then it's making a series of really valuable points. And so as you're reading it, you're being constantly surprised, as the best storytelling is. The best storytelling, when you see a great film, I think it feels right and feels like everything happened the way it needed to happen. And I felt this way about The Holdovers this year, which is one of my favorite movies, that if everything felt just right, and at the same time, I was constantly surprised. And I always thought it was going to go this way, and then it would stop and it would go in a different way. And that is so hard to do.
Isn't that kind of how life is?
And that is exactly how life is. And then when you look back on life, everything kind of fits in, and you're like, wow, that was meant to happen in that way. Incredible.
Yeah.
But it's constantly surprising.
Yeah. And they should really teach kids that. They should really teach kids that life is just going to be so surprising no matter what, because I think a lot of the rhetoric is chase your dreams. You can control your destiny. You choose who you are. Da, 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 da. And it's these poor kids.
Hey, did you like that video? Why don't you click on this one? Or maybe watch this one? Or click over here.